Okay, guys. So that's it. Today we're going to continue with the previous sessions, right? Previous session we had discussed about the different types of deployment, right? We have a replication controller, replica set, as well as we have a deployments actually. So those are the three important replication type or Kubernetes pod controller types actually, right? So today we are going to discuss on the practical part actually. Okay, so for doing that, okay, let me log into the servers actually. So this is my master, so I have only two nodes, but that is fine. So okay, hold a second guys, just hold a second. Guys, sorry, actually, I got one call, actually, important call. Okay, sorry, we'll continue. So, uh, so we just discussed on the different deployments, right? So we are going to see how we can do the practicals today. Okay, so I just copied the public key and okay, this appearance. I'll go with that appearance. Okay, let me go with the color. Okay, guys, today what happened? No, I encountered one issue today actually. Okay, hello, guys. Today
Yes,
what?
Raj.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Today what happened? Right, I encountered an issue actually. I'll tell you what is that issue now. See what happened, right? I have my PPK file, right? If you go to the download directory, here I have my PPK file. This is my PPK file. So let me do one thing. Let me move this file here. Okay, just so assume that actually I have lost my PPK file. So now what I will do, I will go to the PuttyGen. Okay, I will try to load the file of PEM file. So this is my PEM file. So I just loaded it, and then like I went to the, I tried saving the file. Okay, I will get the same file. Okay, then here instead of PEM, I will create PPK. We know very well that we have seen already this, that we are able to create it. But now the point is that actually now this is the newly created PPK file. Now what will happen, right? Suppose assume that I try to connect again to the master. I'll try to connect. I'll copy this public key and then go to this putty session and then try to log into that server. Settings. Okay, and then like give that auth file. So the same auth file. Now when you're logging in, you could see that actually you're getting an error actually. Okay, some SSH private key. So even though you created a PPK file, still you're getting this error. So why I'm showing that you might encounter this error. So what you do, right? You can remove this file. You can remove this file and then again open the PuttyGen. Before you load it, what you have to do that you have to go to the key here, parameter for saving keys like this here. Just select this second version actually, version 2, and then say okay. And now you create the file now. That is the only thing you have to do, right? See. Now you try to create the PPK file. It created the file. Now you try to log into your machine. So copy this public key.
There's one question.
Yeah, now you are able to log in. Can you check it? Yes.
So every time instead of using putty, we have other tools, right? Like
Yeah,
we can,
mobile XTerm also you can use. I'll show you in the next class.
yeah,
Mobile
that is
XTerm.
that would be like we can save key. It will be stored. No need to load every time. Session
Yes,
will
yes,
be.
we can do that. What most of the time what happened, right? People will be using putty. That's what I would
Yeah,
tell. Next class I will install the mobile XTerm. I'll show you everything in mobile XTerm.
yeah,
There we don't need any PPK file. Even with your PEM file also you can log in.
yes.
Okay. Fine. So here you have a master, and I have opened the two masters. Fine. Now, now you know very well that in the last session we have seen the replication controller, right? Replication controller. If you see the diagram here, we have seen the diagram, right? Yesterday we have discussed about this, right? When it comes to the replication controller, right? So we saw that replication controller with help of a selector, it is nothing but the label. It can monitor the ports actually, correct? And in case of a replication controller, it can only monitor one set of selector. It means that only one label type it can it can monitor. It cannot monitor more than one label. Suppose you have a team is equal to Dave, and you have one more team is equal to prod, it cannot monitor with the two labels actually. So that is not there in the replication controller. Okay. So now that's a reason what happened, right? If you want to monitor more than one label set, actually set based selectors, then you have to go with the replica set. Replica set will support more than one selector actually. Here you can have a team is equal to Dave, team is equal to prod, team is equal to test, team is equal to QA. You can have n number of different selectors, and the replica set will monitor all those pods which are having those labels. Okay. Here what happened? Only one type of label only it will monitor. The replication control will monitor. So now, so we have to see like how the replication controller works. Now the thing is that here, like for example, uh, if you have any, let me check what are the nodes. Okay, so two nodes, and let me see if I have any pods which are running. So there are no pods which are running. So let me do one thing. Let me create a pod actually. Kubectl run web hyphen image is equal to nginx. So we have created a pod. If you execute the kubectl get pods, we know that this pod is running. I mean, it is still it is in a creating state. It will come in a running state, right? Now we know very well that actually this pod is running. But as we discussed in the previous session, that suppose in case of this pod is getting deleted or it is getting terminated, does the Kubernetes will take care of recreating the same pod again? No, right? It doesn't, because unless and until there is any control over on top of this pod, the this pod will never get recreated, right? So we need some kind of a controller. So controller means we need some kind of a replication controller features or the resources on top of this pod where it will monitor this pod actually. So that's the reason what happened, right? How you can verify whether any controller is there or not on top of this pod which is running. So what you can do that you can remove this pod to just verify it, right? If I execute kubectl delete pod and specify the name web, I say enter, we have to see whether this pod will get removed or not. Like if I do a watch, so we need to just check whether this pod will get recreated or not if I delete it. Now assume that if I delete it just to check the purpose whether the pod is having any controller, assume that this pod is not having any control at all. This will get deleted, right? So then you will say that okay, some important diagnostic was running inside my pod actually that got deleted. So that is not the right way, right, to check or to verify whether the pod is having any control or not. To verify it actually, what you can do that you can set kubectl describe pod and specify the pod name. If you describe it in the description here, it would have mentioned here that it is controlled by so and so replication controller, or it is controlled by the replica set, or it is controlled by the deployment. Like that, you will get here the information about the controller types actually. Since we could see that here there are no controller types, which is, I mean, there are no controllers. So you can assume that this pod which is running, it is not under any controller under any of the replication controller. It is not, no, it is not running on top of any controller. That's what you can make out. But still, right, what happened, right? I will do a kubectl delete pod and specify the pod name. You can see that the pod is getting deleted. So it's getting terminated. Now you have to wait. Now you see that the pod is not getting created at all because there is no controller. So that's the reason what happened, right? You will never get a pod again. So that's the reason we have a lot of replication controller types actually. So the first type is nothing but the replication controller actually. So if we, so for implementing that, we need to have a YAML file actually. So if you go to the YAML file, so we already have written a YAML file here, replication controller. I have a YAML file. So this is my file, sir. This is the file actually. This is a YAML file. Let me do one thing. Let me copy this file actually. So I'll create a file rc.yaml. RC means replication controller. So I'll copy it actually. Let me save this file first. So I have saved this file now. So let me open this file. Now, if you see this file actually, you could see that actually it is having a kind of with the name of replication controller. Okay. So here I am implementing a replication controller. The kind would be replication. Where you will get, you know very well that you can go with the kubectl explain. You can say RC. You can even say replication controller. Complete name you can give like this, or else in a short form you can just say RC. Execute like this, you would know that actually that it is the kind is a replication controller. Yes, correct. Here replication controller, and the version of the API version is V1. Yeah, same thing I'm using. Fine. After that, you are having API version, kind, metadata, spec. API version, kind, metadata, spec. The same stuff actually. These are the four important things which you will find in each and every YAML, right? So now what is happening is that if you want to have a more information, you know very well that I have to say kubectl explain RC, and if I can say recursive, keep it to less, something like that. Okay? You will get many more information. Like for example, you have an API version, you have a kind, you have a metadata. Under metadata, there are so many fields are there. I don't want to use all the fields, but some few important things that I want to use something like a name actually. So here what I'm using, here I'm using a name actually. What is a pod name we need to create whenever the pod is getting created? I'm getting creating with the name rc-demo, replication demo. Okay, fine. After that, what happened, right? If you come down here, you have a spec actually. You have a spec. So here you have a spec, you have many other fields like min ready seconds, replicas, selectors, template, metadata. Again, the same stuff. I'm not using all the fields for writing my deployment. So what I will do that I will use something as a replicas. So replicas, here I'm using replicas. So replicas, how many number of pods you need to create, right? When you are executed, you need some three number of pods here. So three pods getting created. After that, you could see that there is something with selector actually. Selector is same thing like what is a label you are assigning for each and every pod actually. So here label I'm giving something like team is equal to Dave. Okay, fine. So I need to give only one label. That's what you know that under the replica controller, it will not allow more than one label. So here I'm just giving only one label. After that, you are having something known as a template here. Okay, template. So under the template, you are having metadata. See, metadata. So under the template, you're having metadata. What is the metadata? Here in the metadata, you are having something known as a name, label. So name, I'm giving the same thing here, whatever I've given the name, right? The pod name, same thing I'm giving here also. And here you are having a labels, same thing. Here you are giving a labels. Label also, I'm giving the same team is equal to Dave, something, same thing like that. After that, if you come down, here you have something known as a spec. See, here you have something known as spec. So I'm using a spec actually. Under the spec, you have many things, active deadline second, affinity and all. This affinity, node affinity and all, we will see later. All these things, prefer during scheduling, no during, all these things, we'll be having a separate topic on that. But right now, I'm not discussing all these things. So what I want it here is that under the spec, I'm I need something known as a container. If you see down over here, you will see something known as a container here. Okay, where is it? I think here you have something as a containers. So I'm using the container here. Now you could make out that actually that under this spec, uh, this spec and this metadata, see it should align. So this you have to make sure. Okay. So metadata and spec should align under the template. That's what you have to be very careful. Here you are giving one space means it will throw in syntax error actually. So under the spec, what here you are doing that you are giving you are giving a specification about what is the thing which will be running in each and every container. So here you are given the replica as three containers, or, sorry, three pods actually. But in each and every pod there will be containering, right? So you need to give the specification about what exactly will be running inside that container. So here that specification, but this is what it is. So here what you're giving under the container, because container is an array, so you have to give two space dash hyphen and space name. So name of the container, okay, demo something like RC demo hyphen one I'm giving. And after that image you are giving. What is the image you want to? It means that basically you want to provide the application image name here. So here I'm providing Nginx and the version I'm giving is 1.7.1. That's what I'm mentioning here, colon here. So this is the image name. And we are saying that what in which port it is running actually. Here you are giving the ports, and here because it since it is an array type, you have to go on to the next line, give two space and you say hyphen and say container port and you are saying 80. It means that your Nginx is running on the port number 80. Clear, sir? Now this is my replication control YAML file. That's what I have given as a name as a rc.yaml. Okay. So now what I will do, I will save this file actually. Save this file. So what I will do that I will try to run that. Before you run that, what I will do, I'll say kubectl get. If I say rc, or if I just say replication controller also, I can, if I just say rc, it's a shortcut. So you could see that there are no replication controller which right now it is running. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll say kubectl get. I'll say rc comma pods actually. Right now there are no pods which are running under that RC also, under that not RC, under my namespace actually. Now what I will do that I will do one thing. I will keep a watch on this kubectl get RC comma pods actually. Okay, I'll just okay. Now what I will do that I have the rc.file. So let me do one thing. Let me say kubectl apply -f rc.yaml. So when you apply it, if you come over here, you could see that actually that okay, it has created a replication controller, right? And you could see that there are 3 pods which are getting created because under this YAML file you have mentioned as a replicas as 3, right? So there are 3 files, there are 3 pods which are running under this replication controller, right? The replication controller is of a type RC, it is of a name RC-demo. But here you could see that it is not showing the label. Let me do one thing. Let me run the same command watch. Here I say show hyphen labels. Now you could see that actually all the pods are having a label of the type Dave is equal team. That's what replication controller will only work with only one label type. Even this replication controller also has a label with the same name team is equal to Dave. So this is what it is. So here, if you see, if you this is what it is running. If you see that actually, if you come over here and if you say kubectl describe RC replication controller, and then you give the replication name actually. I mean replication controller name RCFN demo. Now you could see that you will get some more description. So it says that actually the name is RC demo, and you could see that the selector is team dev, label is team dev, replicas is 3. It means that currently it is running 3, but desired is what 3. It means that it always desired I need to always have 3 pods running. Currently all the pods are running, and this is the image under which it is running, which is nginx 1.7.1. This is the version, and this is the image which is running under that under the pod within a container, and this is not the events actually, right? Now this is what it is running now. Now what we will do that we'll do one thing. Let me remove a pod actually. I don't think I'll remove this pod or I'll delete this pod. Let us see how it happens. See, now I'll do one thing. I'll say kubectl. Just watch here. Kubectl delete pod and specify that pod name. So I'm just deleting this pod RCF and demo someday. Now you could see that the pod is getting terminated. A new pod has got created. Guys, I think can you? Some of you can, yeah, off it. I think 2 people have joined in the same. Okay. So what you could make out that here that if as soon as you delete a pod, it is terminating that pod again. It is creating a one more new pod. See, I don't think. Let me do one more time actually. CTL kubectl delete pod and specify any of the pod name. So I'm specifying this pod name. Now you could see that actually, see it is deleted it and again it is creating, right? So it means that actually at any given point of time, if any one of the pod goes down, this replication controller will take care of creating a new pod actually, right? So whatever it has a desired state, always it will try to maintain the desired state of 3. That's the reason what happened, right? Whenever it terminates whenever any pod is getting terminated, automatically the replication controller will try to recreate that pod again, recreate a new pod again. Okay. So this is how the replication controller works now. Now you see that now how the replication will get to know that, or how the pod will get to know that actually I'm under that particular replication controller, how it will know. So what you can do, you can even describe also. If you just copy this and if you go to the kubectl describe pod and specify the pod name. Now you could see that actually, see, it clearly says here, when you describe it, it says that it is actually controlled by this replication controller. It means that this pod is currently under the control of this replication controller. That's the reason what happened, right? Even though if this pod get terminated or deleted, the Kubernetes replication controller resource will recreate the pod again. Clear, guys? Guys, are you clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, what is happening is that actually, if I delete the pod, how to delete the pod actually? How to delete the replication actually? To delete the replication, already I have a file rc.yaml. I can just say kubectl delete hyphen f and specify this YAML file. So this will get deleted, right? Or even you can say kubectl delete rc and then specify this complete replication like this. So this way also you can delete. If you delete this replication controller, automatically whatever the pods which are running under the replication controller will also get terminated. Correct, sir? So let's try out. Okay, I think I have to only give this name, replication kubectl delete rc, and I have to just give this name actually. That's all. Now if I remove it, now you could see that it is getting terminated. See, even all the pods are getting also terminated. Either you can remove the replication with the file type. If you execute kubectl delete hyphen f, you know very well, hyphen f rc.ml, or else you can even do this way also, kubectl delete rc and specify that replication. In both the ways you can delete it. Now let me do one thing. Let me apply it again. Or before applying, I'll do one thing, sir. Let me create a pod actually. I'll say kubectl run. Okay, what I will do, I'll say something like web server or something, web server hyphen f image is equal to nginx. I'm creating a pod. Now you could see that a pod is getting created with this name, and you could see the by default the label is coming something like run is equal to web server. Some label it is being. So now what I'll do, I'll just do delete the label for this pod. Just delete the label. So what is a run is equal to web? I don't think I'll just say kubectl label. I want to, whenever I want to delete means I have to say what is it, run. Like I'll just say this one. So now you could see that there's no label now. Yeah. Now I'll do one thing. I'll say kubectl label pod. I'm assigning a label now for this web server, something like team is equal to Dave. Now you could see that a label has been assigned to team is equal to Dave. Correct. Now a pod is already running. Now a pod is running with this label now. Now, if you see the replication controller rc.yaml file, if you see this file, it says that actually that it can only the monitor the pods which are having a label Dave is equal to team. Sorry, team is equal to Dave. Right. Now what is happening is that actually, but already a pod is running over here in the system. Now, if you apply this kubectl, let's see, if you apply this kubectl apply hyphen f, what the replication will do, replication control will get created, but it needs 3 pods to be created while when you're running this YAML file. But what happened, right? Already the replication control sees that there is some other pod which is running with the same label, team is called Dave. Then what the replication control will do, that it will acquire that pod actually. It means that it will make this pod to run under its replication controller, and because it needs 3 replicas, already there is only 1 pod is running over here. Now the replication controller will only create 2 pods. So it means that if there is any pod which is already running with this label, it means that actually that your replication controller works with the label method, right? So that's what we discussed, right? On the like always, right? Your replication controller will always work the selector itself, right? So here already it is running now according to this rc.yaml file. It needs a 3 replicas, but in this case now it will create only 2 replicas, and this one will take automatically. It means that this will take under its control. So let us see now. kubectl apply -f and rc.yaml. Just see here. Just see, guys. See what is happening. See here. It is trying to create 2. See, it created the 2. See here, you could see that it has only created these 2 pods. Here, this is not create. It takes the control of this pod. So it means that even this pod now, it is under this replication controller. Now, if you want to check it out, see here, if you execute kubectl describe pod and specify this pod name web-server. Now you could see that, see, it is under the controlled, right? It means that if you remove this pod, automatically the replication control will recreate a new pod actually. Correct? It will recreate a new pod. So it means that now you can very well, you can tell that actually replication control will always works based on the labels actually. That is how it works. Now it is proved that it will work only with the help of labels. So now what I will do one thing, you will say that okay Rajesh, I'll do one thing, I want my pod back. So I don't want my pod to be run under the replication controller. I want to make my pod out of my replication controller. Suppose assume that I want to do some diagnostics, I want to do some diagnosis of this pod actually, right? Whatever it is running inside, right, I want to do some diagnostic, right? So if I don't move out from the replication controller, suppose while doing it the pod goes down actually, what the control will do, it will kill this pod and it will create a new pod actually, right? But I don't want to do that actually. I want this pod to not to be terminated by the replication controller, not to be controlled by the replication controller. So I want to just make it out actually. So to do that, what happened, right, you have to simply remove this label, sir. That's all. So what I will do, I'll go here, just see what I'm doing here. See, kubectl label, I'm just removing the label pod, specify the pod name web hyphen server, and what is team hyphen. I'm unsetting the label. Now you could see that, see, you have unsetted this label. Now it has come out. Now what happened, right, to maintain the desired state, what the replication controller has done, it has recreated one more pod. See, now these three pods are running, right? So these three pods under this replication controller, whereas this pod, it is not under replication control because we have moved out from the replication, right, controller. So now to prove it whether it's under the control or not, same thing, you have to say kubectl describe pod and specify the pod name. Now you could see that this pod is not under any replication controller, right? See, it is not under any replication controller. I think I came up here. Yeah. See, it is not under any replication controller. Otherwise, you would have shown here controlled by, right? So it is not under replication controller. So now you can do any kind of a diagnostic, whatever you want to do on this pod. Now this pod. Now you say that if I remove this replication controller, it will remove the replication controller as well as it will remove all these three pods, right? Whereas this pod will not be removed at all because it will be still running because it is not controlled by the any of the replication controller, right? So now what you will do that, you said, okay, Rajesh, now my diagnostic is complete. I want to make this pod again back to the replication controller. So what you will do, you'll just assign a label now. So how to do that? Same thing. kubectl label pod, specify the pod name and specify the label. Dave is equal to team. You're just assigning. Now you just observe what is happening over here. Now you could see that actually, see, you have made it to run under one, but still, it, but what is happening that it has to maintain the desired three. It has to, okay, and I think I have did the wrong actually. Okay, I did the wrong actually. Okay, what I have to do that kubectl team is good. I have to do. Sorry,
Yeah, correct. Team is called Dave.
it has made inside it, but you could see that one of the pod it has got terminated because the desired is three. It cannot maintain four, right? So now this pod is under your replication controller. Clear, sir? So it terminated one of the pod and it included this web underscore server under its controller, right? So this is what it is. Now you say that okay, Rajesh, now this is fine actually. Now I want to remove the replication controller, but I don't want to remove the pods which are running under it. You want to remove it, fine. If you say that if you remove this replication controller, even the pods which are running under this also will get removed, right? But I don't want to do that. Only the replication controller has to be removed. So to do that, actually, so you have to say kubectl delete delete rc replication controller. You have to say hyphen fn cascade is equal to false, and specify your replication name actually, rc-demo. So here you are only removing the replication controller and not the pods which are running under it. See, now you could see that the replication has been removed, but still the pods are running. This is the command, sir. Delete kubectl, delete rc cascade false. So this is one of the intro question they will ask. You want to remove the replication, but the pods which are running under it should not be removed. How to do that? You have to say, sir, kubectl delete replication controller hyphen cascade is equal to false, and specify the, and later you have to specify the replication name. Clear, sir? So now you could see that it is running now. Now you can, if you want to remove all the pods, you can say kubectl delete pods hyphen all. It will remove all the pods. Correct, guys?
Okay, Rajesh, like one small doubt. See, we have created the manually one of the pod web something we have created a web server. Okay,
Mm.
so we have removed the tag label just to take it out of the replication controller. Again, we have added the same label to add it back to the replication controller, and by doing that, it will delete one of the pod which was already created, like out of all
Yeah,
the three. So,
correct.
like how it decides which one to delete all those things. The last one created, it will delete,
Mm.
or it takes by its own any of the
It
pod.
takes by its own, whichever sees, right, whichever, it takes it by own by application controller. It
Okay.
will automatically
And
take any.
the application whatever will be running on that pod, it will transfer it to the new one which got re-added.
No, no, it is not transferring. It is recreating. Application will not get transferred here. Oh, pod creation will happen. New pod creation will happen because this all these pods are having the same application which are running, right? Nginx, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, whatever we have, right? rc.yaml, you could see that this is running with the same image, Nginx. So each
Correct,
and
correct.
every pod will be running with the same application. The application or a content will never get transferred. It is a
Okay, okay.
recreation of a
Okay,
new
just
pod in
like
the
huh,
application.
I got it.
Okay.
And in this file, I have like small doubt. See,
Hmm.
the first spec we are specifying it, right? That is for the replication controller. We are giving replicas, selector, and
Hmm.
template,
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
And this template is specific to only for the containers, like the spec which is under template, this thing block.
Under here, huh?
Second spec, the down one.
Here, huh? Yes.
This one is
This,
only for the containers, right?
yes, yes.
Whatever we will be
This is only
creating.
for the containers. Correct. The containers. Correct. You're right.
Okay.
You're right,
Okay.
actually.
So under the specification of the replication controller, we will have a template which will
Hmm.
have the specification for the containers, and which will have the
Correct.
same metadata for the containers as well.
Correct.
But
Correct. Metadata for the
okay,
containers. Yes, you're right, actually. Correct.
okay.
See, sir, this is the metadata for your containers actually. See what is happening that because it is a replication controller type, right? You have a spec actually. This is the common for every any YAML actually. Under that there are four important things. One is what happened when we have replicas which you have to mention. One is the selectors you have to mention, and one is a template you have to mention, and whether it's a spec you have to mention.
Mm-hmm.
These four things should be there under the spec when you are working with the replication controller. These four things
Okay.
actually. So
Mm-hmm.
to just to follow the this one, what do you call that API reference you have, right?
Reference guide.
Yeah, you have to just to follow. Here in between there are many things will come, sir. Like in the upcoming classes, I'll be adding many more things under the spec, many more things under this spec. I'll be adding it actually, like affinity and all I said, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
things and all will be keep adding. So that we will see later actually. As and when it is based on our requirement, we'll be adding many more fields actually.
Okay. Okay.
But this is a simple, way of showcasing how exactly replication controller works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So here, what happened, right? When it comes to the replication controller, suppose assume that we are having a Nginx 1.7.1. Tomorrow, assume that Nginx 1.9.1 comes actually. So what they say, like whenever you want to do a rolling update, actually rolling update when it comes to replication controller, what has happened, right? From the Kubernetes version v1.18, right? Means after v1.18 or from 1.18, what happened, right? Kubernetes has disabled or has removed the rolling update feature actually. Feature in replication controller. Before to that, before 1.18, like we have a 1.16 or 1.14 and all, this was there actually. So how it used to happen, like for example, like here, you said that Rajesh, okay, now my replication is running, fine. So I think it is already there. Yeah. So I'll do one thing, I'll apply it. kubectl apply -f and specify your YAML file. So now you know that it will create a replication controller as well as it will create all the pods, 3 replicas, it will create it actually. So now you say that Rajesh, here what happened, if you see this replication, right? You see this replication, kubectl describe RC space specify the replication. Now you could see that it is actually having an image which is running in 1.7, 1.7 point. Tomorrow, if you want to upgrade this version, how to do that? So we have an option of upgrading, but that was before it. Later, what happened that they removed that because that if you there is one command is there actually. If you execute a command like this, Kubernetes kubectl rolling -update what is it, dev-team or rc-demo, something like this, -fn update -period is equal to something like 10 seconds. And then you need to apply to that file rc.yaml. So we used to have this option, sir, kubectl rolling update. Now it has been removed. This is not there in the latest version. This they have removed it actually. So what here you are saying, right? Here what you're saying that suppose I have a same RC file actually. RC file is there. You say that Rajesh, you have to change this image. Suppose like here it is having 1.7. What you have to do that? You have to come over here. Either you can recreate a new file like this. CP, you can create this new file. CP rc-update.yaml, something like that. You can create this. You can open this file. And here what happened, right? You say that actually, Rajesh, I want Nginx 1.7.9. Okay. And what I will do, I will try to change all these names are actually like here, something like here. I will, instead of this, I'll just give something like update. Oh, here also have to use something like an update. I have to do little this here, update, and here what happened, it is not required. So this is fine. Now, if I want to do a rolling, now what happened, I want to apply this new replication control file. So what I have to do that, I have to say kubectl rolling -update like this. But this command or this option, they have removed it, sir, actually. It is not there. So what you have to, they will ask in an interview that how you're doing a rolling update, actually, rolling update in case of replication controller. So you have to say that actually the rolling update, what will happen, right? Theoretically, you have to explain because they will expect you to answer it theoretically. Suppose you have a replication controller. You have a replication controller. This is your replication controller. Right? And under the replication controller here, a lot of pods are running, right? So here some 3 pods are running, you know that. And this pod is having a Nginx 1.7.1. Right. Now what you will do that you say that what exactly it happens. I want to do a rolling update of Nginx from 1.7.1 to 1.9.1. So what I do that you cannot do the update to the pods actually. You have to do update to the replication actually. So when you do an update to the replication, what would happen in the background, right? When you apply this file, right, with an updated one, whatever you have changed, right? Here, this file has an updated version of Nginx 1.9.1, right? That's what. Or else you can even do in the same file and apply it, no problem. Or else you can create a copy of that file and do the changes and apply it, no problem. But here what is happening that when you're doing an update, what will happen that what replication will do that it will create one more new replication controller, right? A new replication. Yesterday we discussed this, right? Same thing. A new replication control will get created. New replication controller will get created. So now what is happening after it creates? So on top of this, you know that we have a service actually. The service is running, right? We have a service which is running. So here in this case, service I am choosing as a load balancer. So we'll discuss all these things later. So now what is happening is that actually once a new replication control is getting created, what will happen, right? A new pod will get created. This pod will have an Nginx of 1.9.1. Once this creates, what it will do, right? It will remove one pod from this controller. From this older controller, it will get removed like this. Again, what happened, right? One more replication control, sorry, one more pod will get created that has a version same thing, 1.1, like this happens. Once this completes, what happened from here in this replication controller, what happened? This pod will get removed actually. Second pod will get removed like this. Again, one more pod will get created that has a version again 1.1, 9.1. And once it creates, what happened right here, this final pod will get removed actually. So once all these three pods are getting removed, it means that there is no pod at all. Correct? Now what is happening that once it get created, what happened? Once all the pods are getting deleted, what Kubernetes will do, it will try to remove this replication controller. Once it removes the replication controller, now service has a bind with this replication controller, because that whenever the traffic comes out from the outside world, whoever the customer or the client want to access this pod, actually he will come through the service, and service know that okay, this is a replication controller, and under its replication controller there are many pods which are running, so hence it will try to send the traffic like this. Correct? That's how it used to happen earlier. Now what is happening, because of the rolling update, what is happening that once all these pods are getting deleted or terminated, this replication control will also get terminated. So finally, what happened, right? There is some kind of a downtime. So now what happened? Now the service load balancer or the service, it will check. Okay, I'm actually connected with some replication control with some name. Now that name itself is not there. So what happened? You will see some downtime. Later, what happened? This new replication control which got created, right? Whatever the older name what was having, right? Like Dave is good time, that will get assigned to this new replication controller. Now what happened? The service will get to know, okay, this is the new replication controller where I have to send the traffic or where I have to get connected. So this will get connected to this service now. So in that way, what happened, right? Now this application, it has a new version 1.9.1. That's how it works actually. Clear, sir? This is what we had discussed yesterday. So here you have to just tell theoretically, whenever any intruder asks you that, how the rolling update happens in case of replication controller. You have to say that this is what you have to say, that new controller will get created, sir, and one by one, all the pods will get deleted from the older replication controller. And once in the new replication controller, all the new pods are getting created with the new application version. Then what happened? A connection will get re-established again to the service. And then finally, what happened? All these things start working. So this is how it happens. But here, one disadvantage, you know that actually you will face some downtime. For some few seconds, you will see some downtime. To overcome this, we have a deployment. So in the deployment, you will see that there will not be any downtime. So that we already discussed yesterday. Once we come to the deployment again, practical, we will discuss the theoretical part again. Okay. So this is how it happens, sir, actually. So now what is happening that here, what happened, right? Here they have removed that feature now. So it is not running, but still what I will do that, I will do one thing, sir. I will already, I think it is running. So I don't think I'll just open that rc.yaml file itself. And here I will do update it here itself, sir. Update it. Let me check actually. So I'll just apply it actually. Kubectl apply -f and specify the rc.yaml file. No problem, it is configured. It says that you go back again. It background in the backend, it happens like that. But what happened? This replica controller now it is actually having a Nginx 1.9.1. How to do that? You just do a describe kubectl describe rc and say rc-demo. Now you could see that, see this Nginx, earlier it was having 1.7.1, now it is 1.9.1. So in the back end, all those rolling update will happen. We will not get to know now. It is very quick now, right? Whereas earlier we could able to make out, because this is getting a new replica control get created, that it will showcase here. And again, what is happening, that an updation will happen. Both the replication control will get deleted. Finally, one more replication control will get created with have the same old name. Like that, you could see the changes. Even this also, one by one, this is getting terminated. A new is getting created. These things and all will be showcased in the background when you are in no in the earlier version of the Kubernetes, like V14 or V17. From V18 onwards, they have removed it actually. But still, what is happening, that this method works actually, right? So theoretically, you have to say this to the interviewer. Correct, sir? Clear?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay. So now, okay, now coming back to here, now in the yesterday cassette, that is the same type of controller type, right? So here, what the disadvantage is that you can only what happened, it can only support only one label type. Suppose you want to have a multiple labels or multiple selectors where you are having a different pods with a different label, you want to monitor for the monitor all these pods with a different label, then replica set is a preferable stuff which we have, right? So in the replica set we can have a control of more than one label actually. So let's see the practicals. So before that, let me remove it. Kubectl delete -f and specify that rc.yaml. I removed it. Now it is gone. Right now, if you see it actually here, if you come to an example of a replica set, I have this file replica set. I'll do one thing. I'll copy this file. So I'll go here. What I will do, I'll say vi replica set, right? Not YAML file. Okay, I'll just save this file. Let me open this file now. Now, if you see here, I could see that actually this is a replication set example actually, how to implement replica set. Now you could see that here the API version is apps v1. All these days we were saying v1, but this is replica set is of the apps v1. So if you want to check it out, you can go over here and you can just say kubectl explain replica set, okay, and then say enter. Now you could see that what is an API version here. API version, see, apps v1. So same thing you have to here also do. You have to just copy paste it here. So here the kind is replica set. See, replica set. R should be capital and S should be capital. Okay. Now it is same thing. If you see the replica controller, the whole YAML is same actually, except here what happened right here. Under this spec you have a replicas. You are maintaining the 3. Fine. Under the selectors, here you have to use one more field known as a match expression. So you have to remember that here for the replica set, there's something the match expression you have to use. Under that, what you're doing, you are using something as a you have to give next line you have to give 2 spaces hyphen and you have to say key. Key is what? Team. That is a key. Operator you have to say in. There are 2 operators, sir. In case of a replica set, we have 2 operators actually. One is a in actually, other is a not in. So here you have a in actually, one is a not in. Here n should be capital and I should be capital. Here what happened? I should be capital, n should be small. So here in and not in. Okay. So now what is happening is that here you could see that actually here you are having a key team operator in means all these values actually. You have to make it in all these values. What are those values? Values are not but dev, prod, test. It means that you are actually you want to bring all the parts which are having a label team is equal to dev, team is equal to prod, and team is equal to test under the replica set. Clear, sir? Suppose you are having some three pods with this. Now all these three pods will come under the replica set controller. Now you could see that after this, all other things are same, sir. You have a template. Under the template, you have metadata and the label and the name. And here you are mentioning the label as a team is equal to Dave. Okay, fine. Now here you are having a spec, actually, the container. Now you could see that actually the same stuff you are same thing, the same program, whatever you have, right? For RC, it's the same. Only one thing is that these are the stuffs we have to add for the replica set. Match expression, key operator, and value. Clear? You can even add one more stuff like here. What is happening that you say that Rajesh, I have a key of team, and I can even add one more key actually like this. Key team operator not in values say just as a test. So here what happened, you are maintaining a condition also here, like you are saying that the team which are all the pod which is having a label as a dev is team is equal to dev, team is equal to prod, and team is equal to test, all should be under the replica set controller. But here what is happening that you are also mentioning that not in, it means that whichever pod which is having a test, that should not be included. So here what is happening, the priority more here in these two cases not in actually. Clear? So not in as having a high priority. That's the reason what happened, right? It only choose those pods which are having this label as a Dave is equal to team and David is equal to prod. If there is some other pod which is having a team is equal to test, actually that will not be considered because not in is having a high priority than in operator. Okay. So here you are actually maintaining, you are having more than one condition now. So you're saying that all these three pods have to be considered under the replica set, but here again you are maintaining one more operator the not, or this should not be considered, right? So now let's do one thing, let's save this file. So before I apply this replica set actually, so let me do one thing, let me go over here and I'll say kubectl get rs replica set actually. No, nothing is there. So let me check one thing, if I have any pods, nothing is there. Okay. And also I want to do -f show labels. Nothing is there, right? So I'll do one thing, I'll keep for the watch. Okay. Now you could see that actually what I will do here, I'll do one thing. I will try to create some containers. kubectl run web, okay, -f image is equal to, or else what is it I have created, rs.yaml. We have a dev prod test, right? Let me create the pod with the same names, dev prod test actually. kubectl run dev -f image is equal to nginx. kubectl run pod -f image is equal to nginx. Same thing here. So now if you see here, you could see that the three pods are running, prod, dev, and test, right? Which is having a label, something, right? So now what is happening that I want to keep a different label now. I want to remove the label now. So to remove it, you know very well that if you see this label, you could see that actually you're having something like team is equal to dev, team is equal to prod, team you are having like that. Same thing you have to mention over here also. So what I'm doing that, let me remove this. Let me remove this label actually. So kubectl label pod, and the pod name is Dave, and I'm just unsetting the label here. Similarly, what happened, right? I'm unsetting for the pod and I'm unsetting for the test. You can just observe over here, sir, what is happening. Okay, so I'm unsetting for the test also. Now you could see that all these 3 pods there are no labels now, correct? Now what you will do, you will just set the label kubectl label pod Dave, team is equal to Dave, correct? I could see that. Similarly, for the prod, team is equal to prod, and the pod is prod actually. Similarly, team is equal to test, and the pod name is test. So now you could see that actually you have set the labels now, correct? Now, if you see the RC replication set dot YAML, sorry, replication set YAML. Now you could see that actually now here it's not only one. You are monitoring the multiple different labels, right? That is what the replica set says, right? Whereas in a replication controller, you know that you can have only one label. See, suppose assume that if I go to the replication controller itself, rc.yaml, the previous one. So you could see that it is only monitoring the Dave is equal to team. Suppose assume that Rajesh, okay, I'll do one thing, Rajesh. I will have one more label actually like this. Team is equal to prod actually. Let me check whether it will work or not in case of replication controller. kubectl apply -f rc.yaml. It will not allow. See, selector does not match the multiple templates label. So only one template label only it will match, not multiples. That is the difference between your replication controller as well as replica set. Here in the replication controller, it doesn't support more than one label. So you have to remove this, correct? Whereas here in replication set, you know that you will have a multiple labels actually, right? Now here in this case, I have mentioned the replicas as 3, correct? And it means that I want 3 pods actually. But here what you are happening that you are creating a 3 pod, but the label will have a Dave, prod, and test. But here in the not in operator, you have mentioned the test actually. It means that you're excluding the test label. Now you could see that these 3 pods are already running. Team is equal to Dave, team is equal to prod, and team is equal to test. Now when I run this or when I apply this YAML file, right? This rs.yaml file, what this will do that already there is some 2 pods which are having this label team is equal to Dave and team is equal to pod, right? So, but it needs a 3. So now what happened? This replication set is going to create only 1 pod now, and these 2 pods it will take within its control. Clear? And this it will not take it because already here you are set as a not in, right? So now let me do one thing. Let me apply it actually. kubectl apply -f rs means replication.yaml. Just observe here. What is it? Ignore this validation. What is it? Replication set. If you choose to ignore this, what is it, sir? I think somewhere there's a mistake, sir. It's correct only. Key not in, correct only. Not in, it's correct only. Where there's a mistake? No, there's no mistake. API option replica set correct. Not sure, sir. Actually, what is there? Set match expressions unknown field value. Unknown field value. Okay, here it should be values actually. Okay, that's a mistake. So here, now you could see that you are applied. Now you could see that here. See what had happened. See whatever the 2 pods which are having, right? Pod and Dave, it took into it actually. But whereas the test pod, it didn't took to its controller. right? To verify it again, what is happening that you can go over here. You can just say kubectl describe, just to confirm, describe pod and specify the pod name as a test. Now you could see that actually this test pod is not under any of the replica set, right? It is not under, it is not controlled over here. That's how you can make it out. Whereas here, if you see the Dave or the pod, let me describe that pod here. I'll just say pipetoless. Now you could see that actually, see, it is controlled by the replica set controller. Correct? It is controlled by the replica. Similarly, even for the Dave also. If you check it out, even for the prod also. This is being controlled by the replica set. Correct, sir? So this is what the difference between replica set and replica controller. Clear, sir? Is it clear?
Yes.
Now you know very well that you remove any of the pod, it will recreate it, right? If I remove this pod, you know very well that it will recreate it, right? If I execute kubectl, delete pod and specify the pod name. See, this pod is getting terminated. And fj, yeah, it is so fast that it will not make out. Fj is, and this is deleted, a new pod got created. Right? You can make out with this name actually. Okay, so that's how it is, sir. Okay, it is very fast. It is removed actually. Okay, so now what is happening that even though if I remove this application controller, you could see that all this will get deleted except this one, right? So this will not get deleted, correct? Because it is having a different label. So here you can make out very well that it is supporting more than one label type actually. Clear? Okay, sir. Fine. So to delete it, you can say kubectl delete -f rs.yaml, or else you can even say kubectl delete replication set and say specify this replication controller. Yes. You can specify anyway. This will get deleted, terminated everything. Okay. But still you could see that this is running because this is not under that control of the replication set. Clear, sir? Okay, guys. Okay. Now we know very well that in the last session we had discussed about this, right? The disadvantage in the replica set that there is, you cannot do a rolling update, whereas here in this case of the replication controller you can do a rolling upgrade. That is a difference between replica set and the replica set and the replica controller. In the replica controller you can do a rolling upgrade of these pods, but whereas here there is no rolling upgrade option. So to overcome that, we have a new way of we have a new way of managing, which is about the deployment. But for the deployment, what happens, right? The same replica set is used. On top of this replica set, there is one more new service which has been created, which we call as a deployment set. Actually. So with the help of a deployment, you can have a rolling update of this pods. Actually, you want to do roll update from one version to another version. This deployment supports now. That is what that was. And most of the time in the industry, they use always the deployment itself as for whenever you want to achieve or whenever you want to have a pod controller or the replication type, always deployment is the most used. They won't use replica set or they won't use replication controller. It is not, they don't. So now to see the practical of this deployment actually, okay. So what we will do, hold a second, sir. Just getting a call actually. Yeah, okay, fine. So now we will see an example of the deployment actually. Okay. So for doing that actually, if you execute kubectl get deployment, So I could say that there are no resources which are running, or else if you execute kubectl, okay, kubectl get all actually. So you could see that actually that there are no deployments which are running. So what I will do, I will do a watch on this. Okay, I'll do a watch on this actually. So now what I will do that here, what I will do that, what I'm going to do that, I'm going to have a YAML file with the name deployment.yaml actually. So let me do one thing, let me copy this YAML file. So deployment.yaml. I think I cannot do this. Nano deployment.yaml. So we have this file, deployment.yaml file. Now it's the same thing. The program is same. The YAML file is same actually. So there's not much difference actually. But you could see that actually in the kind you are having something as a deployment. Correct, sir? We're having something as a deployment. Correct. Now what is happening here is that actually you are actually creating the replicas of 3. Okay, and the image what is running under it container is number Nginx 1.7.1 is what it is running. So now let me do one thing. Let me apply it actually. Let me apply it. So kubectl apply -f and specify the deployment. So now you could observe here that what is happening is that when you apply it actually, now you could see that actually what is happening over here is that actually it is creating a deployment with the name deployment Nginx deployment, right? But what is happening over here that it is actually creating a replica set. It means that the same replica set, what are the replica set we have, right? The same it uses the replica set. So it will create a replica set, and on top of the replica set, it creates a deployment actually. And here what happened under it, what is happening that it is going to run these 3 pods. I think this pod, I think we can remove it just to avoid the confusion. What is the pod name? Test. So now you could see that it has it has created a replica set, and it has created the deployment. Under that deployment, under this replica set, all these 3 pods are under the control of this replica set. Clear, sir? Now if you make out very clearly that this replica set is controlled by this Nginx deployment. This is a deployment type, and you could see that, and it is having a value 643959998. Now whenever it is creating a pod, it is having a pod with the same name. Here you could see that it's the same name, but after this are getting changed. Just to differentiate between these 3 pods, only these things at the end are getting changed, right? So it means that always what happened, right? Always it will first create the replica set, and under the replica set it is going to create the pod with this name and with this number. And this replica set, it is controlled by your deployment actually. Clear? Now the same stuff, if I remove any one of the pod, the kubectl delete pod and specify the pod name here. So spz8, I am deleting this one, I am removing this one. Just see what will happen. See, now you could see that it is creating a new container. See, it has deleted it and it is creating a new container. Clear, sir?
Yes, right.
Yeah. Now here also same thing. You can do a watch on this kubectl up. kubectl get all -fn show -labels. Okay. So right now it is not depend upon label. You can create, you can create it and you can actually form, because here also if you check the deployment.yaml file, you have seen that you have given the here what happened that you have not given you have given the label as app is equal to Nginx. That's all. Okay. So here we are not really worried about the app. I mean about the about the labels actually here. Okay. Now here what is happening is that now the question comes up. Suppose Rajesh, I want to do an update of this 1.7 to 1.9.1. Okay. Here in the deployment you have something known as a rollout, sir. We can do a rollout actually. It means that you can actually update from 1.7 to 1.9. 7.1.1 1.7.1 to 1.9.1. So now what I will do here, before that let me describe, sir. kubectl describe, what is it, describe, and if I say deployment, and if I give the deployment type, I don't want to give it completely, sir. This is not required, just this Nginx deployment is sufficient here. If I give like this, or else I have to give completely, sorry. I think I have to give it completely. So here, if I give this type, deploy kubectl. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I think my spelling mistake. kubectl describe, sir. Describe deployment, and don't give the complete name. You can just give this name actually. So like here, you can only give the deployment name like this. Now you could see that actually that this is nothing but Nginx. This is nothing but it is having a replicas of 3 selectors, or what label is app is going to Nginx, correct? Now you could see that it is running with an image Nginx 1.7, right? And here you could see that it is having the new replica set with this name. Older it is not pointing, it is not pointing to none actually, right? And this is nothing but the events actually. So what it means actually, what is this old replica and the new replica? Now what is happening is that actually, if you are updating actually, same thing. Here what is happening is that in case of a deployment replication type, in case of a deployment controller type, what you have means basically here you have a replication set actually, correct? You have a replication set, replica set actually. Under the replica set, we are having some pods which are running here actually, right? And this pod is having an image of Nginx 1.7.1. Similarly, all these pods having version Nginx 1.7. Even the third pod is also having same. All these pods are having the same version. Now on top of this replica set, we have something as a deployment actually, correct? We're having a deployment. Now you say that, and this deployment is having the endpoint of this replica set connectivity is between the deployment, and replica set connectivity will be having with the deployment, as well as under the replica set all these pods are getting connected actually. That means that all the endpoints of this will be there within that replica set actually, right? And you know very well that on top of the deployment you want to have any kind of a service. You can have a service of the type load balancer, right? Load balancer. Load balancer. And whenever any person who is outside who want to access it over the net actually, right, they can access it, right? If this person is sitting in the system, if you want to access this person want to access this, what you do, you will try to connect over the net. From the net you will try to hit to this service load balancer IP address. From here what happened, right, the connectivity will go to the deployment. From the deployment finally it goes to the pod which is running below the replica set. This is how the the network flow happens, right? Whenever you want to communicate with the particular pod actually. Now here what is happening that you want to do a upgrade actually of the Nginx from 1.7 to 1.9.1, right? So you want to do a rolling upgrade actually, or you want to do a rolling update. What the deployment will do basically that whenever you are doing a rolling update, it will try to create a new replica set actually. It will try to create a new replica set. a new replica set it will try to create whenever you're doing a rolling update, right? And then what is happening that what it does, it is going to create a new pod, and which will be having a version of Nginx 1.9.1. Once it creates here, what it does, right, it is going to remove this one pod here. But what happened, right, whenever any replica set is getting created during the rolling update, automatically the endpoint of the replica set will get added with this deployment actually. At the initial stage itself will get added. Okay. So after this, what happened, right, a pod will get created. Here what happened, one pod will get removed actually. Similarly, one more pod will get created. One more pod will get created here, which is having the version 1.9.1. After it is getting created, here this in this replica set, one pod will get removed actually, like this. Similarly, here in this new replica set, one more third or the final pod will get created, which is having the version 1.9.1. And here what happened, in this replica set, it will get removed. So why we prefer to go with the deployment set? Because in the deployment set there will not be any downtime. As I said in yesterday's session also, that when a new replica set will get created, automatically a new pod with the higher version is getting created, fine. But assume that at the same time the traffic is coming, or if any customer want to connect, what happened, this deployment, it has maintained the endpoint for both this replica set. So it might send the traffic to here in this replica set, or it might send the traffic to here, to the newly created pod, which is having 1.9.1 version. So in that way, what happened that you will not see any downtime at all. It means that at any given point of time, there will be some pods which are running in the Kubernetes cluster, right? When it comes to the deployment. So now what happened when all these three pods are getting created in a new replica set, right? What will happen right here? What is going to happen is that actually that here what happened, all these three pods will get removed. What will do that? Now the deployment will have a connected to this new replica set actually, and this is the older replica set. Now this becomes an old replica set. It will not delete it. It will be the older replica set. This is the new replica set. So now whenever it becomes old, it doesn't mean that the deployment is going to remove. Whereas in case of the replication controller, you know that whenever the new replica set is getting, new replication control is getting created, it will remove the older also later. It will not keep it. Whereas here, it is not like that in case of deployment. It will maintain the older replica set also. And what happened, only it will do reset some value actually. Here what happened, the value will be reset to something 0. And here the value will be reset to 1 actually. So in that way, you'll get to know that, okay, deployment will get to know that whenever any traffic comes, oh, I have to pass that traffic into this replica set actually. But why it maintains the older replica set? Because like tomorrow you want to roll out, you want to roll back. You said, Rajesh, 1.9.1 Nginx is having some issue, man. I want to roll back to my older Nginx 1.7.1. Yes, you can immediately roll back because you are having an older replica set also. In that way, you can repoint back again this deployment to this replica set, and now what happened, you will be able to see all the spots which are having 1.7.1. So that's the reason what happened, right? You have to maintain the older replica set also. That's what deployment will maintain it. So if you come over here, you could see that if you described it actually, here it says that it is having an older replica set none, but it is pointing to the newer replica set, which is having these three replicas which is getting created. So that's what this always maintain the older replica set. Clear, sir? Now, if you come over here, what you have did, okay, we have monitored it, everything fine. I have monitored all these things fine. Now I'll do one thing. I'll try to do one thing, sir. Let me reduce the font, sir, so that you'll get to know, okay, what I'm doing. So this has become smaller, or let me make little. Let me make it to 11, sir. Okay. So what I will do, I will just keep a watch on this actually. Okay, I'll keep a watch on this. Okay, so you could make out, if you see over here when I'm doing an update, right, you could see over here. Now Now what is happening is that whenever, now let me open one more session actually. Open one more session. I think for this practical, I have to have a 2 to 3 sessions. I mean duplicate sessions. I want to have. You want to. So guys, this I'm having third. So what I'll do that here, before you are doing a rolling update actually, suppose like I want to roll out from 1.7 to 1.9 version when it comes to Nginx. I have this deployment, right? So which is having 1.7.1. I want to update to 1.9.1. So after updating, what happened, right? There is one option in the Kubernetes, the kubectl rollout. You can even check the history of that actually, history, and specify this deployment actually. Okay. I think I have to keep it completely rollout history spaces. I think I have to give this complete name, sir. Deployment full name. Now you could see that actually that before you applied it actually, now you could see that it is having the revisions actually, and it says that actually change causes none actually. So it means that actually it means that only one time you have applied it, sir. Only one time you have applied it. Suppose assume that you want to maintain a record. I'll do one thing, sir. I will remove this deployment. I'll just show you from the beginning. kubectl delete -f deployment.ml. You know very well that this will get removed off, right?
Or
This will get,
Rajesh, why don't you roll back and show? It will
yes.
be more.
Yeah, I'll be showing, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me complete. Yeah. So what happened, right? I have removed this. Fine. Now what I will do, I'm just running the deployment. I'm sorry, I'm just applying the -f record is equal to true actually. I'm just maintaining a record, sir. Now you could see that actually, now you could see that it is again created this deployment, this replica set and everything. Now, if I execute the command kubectl rollout history and special deployment, you could see that it will show that the first time you have deployed means that whatever the command which I execute now, it has to show here actually like this. So here what happened? It is maintaining the revision 1. Okay, fine. I'll do one thing, sir. Let me even maintain the watch on this also. Okay, I'm maintaining a watch now on this also. So here also I'm maintaining the watch, right? And here also I'm maintaining a watch. So let me open one more session actually. So now there are three ways for doing a rolling update, sir. Rolling update. One is with the file method, right? For example, if I open this file, okay, if I open this file, okay, I don't think, sir. Yeah. If I open this file, deployment.yaml file, so I'll do one thing. I'll come over here, and I will just update from 1.7 to 1.9 actually. Okay, I'll just update this. Okay, so there are three methods, sir. One is what? One is the file method. Suppose now assume that actually now you could make out that I will execute kubectl apply -f and specify the YAML deployment. Now here the most important that I want to showcase here, because what happened here, it is showing the old replica set and it is a new replica set. But when I apply it, you will make out from this file here that, right, the whatever this old is there, right, here the new is that will come under the old. Now for the new replica set, it will create a new replica set again. For the new replica, it will create a one more new replica set. Just observe what is happening over here. See, when I apply it, see here, can you make out here? See, The old one had come and new has come here. See here also, see, it is terminating, and now again it created a new one. Now this new version will having a 1.7. If you come over here, see, again it has gone. Now this is the new one. So if you see it, Nginx deployment 5B584C6. Last you see D3C6. Now you see here, see here. See, this is was the old one. See, it maintains even the older replica set also. Clear, sir? When it comes to the here for the rolling update, for the roll update, here what I did, no, I did the wrong here. While deploying, I could have written -FN record is equal to true. If I meant, if I did like this, here it would have shown me that, okay, in the next time also, in the next revision also, you have applied the same thing. Whatever the command you apply, right, that command will be coming under this section, sir. Clear? So this is the one method actually. It means that one way of showing that you can do a rolling upgrade by applying the file itself actually. Clear? Now what is happening that, okay, let me do one thing. You will say that, okay, Rajesh, now kubectl, Nginx 1.9.1 is running. Now I want to roll back to the 1.7.1. Okay, so here in this diagram, here you come here, now you want to roll back. I don't want to have, I want to roll back to 1.7.1. So what you can do, right? You can even do something like this. There are many options are there. You can say kubectl rollout history. You can just say rollout history, and you can say the deployment name as Nginx deployment, or you have to give a complete name. Oh, I think Nginx deployment space, and you can say -FN revision. Which revision you want to get into? So revision number 1. You could see that here you are having a revision number 1 actually. It means that you want to roll back to the previous version. Clear, sir? You can do like this, or else you can even do rollout. You can even do something like undo and specify the deployment name. This is the deployment name. Space -FN to revision is equal to 1. That means that you want to roll back to the revision number 1. Let's apply. Just see here what will happen. Okay, sorry, I think I have to give this complete name, sir. Sometime it is taking, sometime I don't. So now you could see that if you see over here, see, it is rolling back. See, old replication, now it's a new replication. See, now you could see that it has rolled back again to the older version. Clear, sir? In this way, you can roll back also. Okay, you can say roll back also. Now you say that, Rajesh, suppose like anyone comes, he can always roll back like this. He can give it. Suppose I want to pause it actually. I don't want to allow any other person to, any other person to do a rollback actually. In that case, what happened that you can say kubectl rollout pause. You can say pause and specify the deployment, sir. Like this. You're pausing it actually. So you're pausing it. So after that, suppose assume that you're opening that deployment.yaml file. Here, okay, let it be 1.9.1 because it is now 1.7.1, right? I have rolled back actually. I will apply it actually. kubectl apply -f, specify the deployment.yaml, right? -FN record is equal to true. I will maintain now here. Now you could see that actually this you could see that it's not allowed to do an update at all. See, it is not at all updated. See, you have paused it actually. You have paused it That's the reason what is happening is that you are not able to do any updates. If you want to unpause it, you can say cube. I mean, you have to resume means you have to say kubectl rollout resume. Sorry, I'm sorry. Rollout resume and specify the deployment name. Now it will work out. So now what happened? Already you had applied it. That now again it is reapplying now because you are removed from this one, right? It is applying again. Whatever you did it here, right? You applied, right? That it is taking care of once you are resuming it actually. Okay, sir. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are some of the options you have to check when it comes to even you can even scale also, sir. Like for example, here you're having 3 pods running actually, right? Here you are having 3 pods running. You can say kubectl scale actually. What is your deployment name? This is a deployment name. Scale to -fn replicas is equal to 10. See, you can scale to 10. Either you can do with this command line, or else you can open the file itself, deployment.yaml file, and here itself you can say replicas is equal to 10. Like that also you can do, right? So here I don't want to, I want to scale down to 3. So what you can do that, you can scale down to 3 means replicas equal to 3, and scale down to 3. Clear, sir? Okay, like this. And the second method, first method is means you are doing a rolling update to the file itself. The second method in the command line itself, you can do it actually. You can say that kubectl set image, specify this deployment name, sir. Specify the deployment name, space. You can say the image name is nginx, right? Nginx is equal to nginx colon 1. What is the version currently it is working here? I want to check it. Kubectl describe the deployment space deployment name. Here, while describing it, you should not give full name like this. You have to give only this one, this much. I want to just check. Okay, what is it happening here? Here it is having 1.9.1. Okay, fine. I want to do 1.7. So first is the file method. You can even open the deployment.yaml file. Here you can edit directly here. Like I want to do it for 1.7.1. So you can apply it, or else in the command line itself, kubectl set image and specify the deployment name. This one. And you can specify that nginx equals nginx colon 1.7.1, right? After that, -fn record is equal to true, something. Or else you want to maintain the revision or something like that, you can maintain that. Okay. Okay. Now you could see that here. See what is happening. See what is happening. It means that the rolling update is happening over. So either you can even mention in the command line also. This is the second method. First is the file method. Second is in the command line method. Putting update methods in deployment. First is the file method. Second is the command line. Third is not but you can just say kubectl edit and specify this deployment name here. So it will open the file, come over here. It is having 1.7.1.1, right? You can just replace to 9. Just save this file, that's all. Once you save the file, automatically you could see that the rolling update is happening over here. Correct, sir? So this is the third method. What is the third method? Kubectl edit and specify the deployment name actually. Is a third method. So in these three ways, you can do a rolling update in case of a deployment. So what we learned today, we learned about the replication controller, the examples. We learned about the replica set. In the replica set, we know that we can give more than one label. And finally, we understood about the deployments. Clear, sir? Next class, what we will do that we will be learning about the what are the different strategies of your deployment, different strategies, and what are the services, right? Services we will learn. So next topic will be the strategies and the services actually. And okay, those are the topics which we'll be covering in the day 12 session. Clear, sir?
Okay, Rajesh.
Okay, sir. So we can stop the session. We can stop the recording, please.